Good morning, my name is Kurt Ransom, Operations Section Chief for Team 12, the team that's managing the Bedrock Complex. That includes Bedrock Fire and the Salmon Fire down by Oak Ridge. We'll start going around and giving you a current situation or update on what's going on in Bedrock, and then we'll go over to Salmon Fire. I'll start like I've been doing, or like we've been doing around the clock to the clockwise, starting with the west side, and that's what we're calling Division Alpha. Yesterday, they continue to do a little bit of preparation work on the backup road system up here off of the 1817 on Division Alpha. A lot of the efforts yesterday were concentrated up here where, as you might recall, 2 evenings ago, they completed some burnout operations down to this middle of the kind of the division here, around that drop point 17 on the map. Yesterday they went in and they basically spent most of the day trying to get a little bit more depth, meaning burning a little bit lower down the slope towards the main fire and cleaning up some areas that didn't quite burn well enough a couple nights before. A lot of this stuff is in the old fire scar from the Jones fire, so there's not a lot of fuel on the ground, so it takes a little bit more effort sometimes to get some of that stuff established and moving down the hill to meet up with the other fire. So if anybody was looking up to the fire yesterday and noticed a column punching out of the top of that was within the containment lines, and actually that was doing some good work for us. So what that was, it was up here in that Zog Creek drainage, if you know the local area, that had some fire pretty close to the line, but the crews 2 nights ago were able to get in there quite a ways beneath the containment line and introduce some actual fire, meaning like light some roads interior. And what you were seeing with that column was the main fire meeting with that interior lighting. So that's actually meeting our objective. So what that does is that takes all that energy out, so that really makes the line more secure. So you'll probably be seeing a little bit more of that in the next couple of days as we continue to burn. So the plan for today in Division Alpha is to continue down this afternoon when the conditions are right to continue to take fire along that 1817 road, kind of down the hill there, and do the same thing. The other things we're going to do in there today, and we also did last night, is run a UAS, a drone that's operated by one of the crews up there, and it actually drops PSD balls. There's spheres that drop out of the device, the drone. They ignite when they hit the ground, and that prevents firefighters from having to go into that real rough ground and light by hand. So they were able to do that at night. So that helps us get even more depth in here to have that fire burn down to the main fire line. So we'll continue to do that throughout the day and start additional operations this afternoon. Let's go over to the top of the fire here. As we mentioned, we did successfully burn last night around the top, Pernod Mountain. And yesterday they tried to do a little bit more cleanup on that, but ran into some of the same issues. A lot of that stuff wasn't burning. It was moisture yesterday and a little cooler. Last night they continued to do that with a little more success. So this is looking better and better up here as far as having good black on the line. Today we're going to look at bringing a helicopter up probably tomorrow, but maybe using that drone or that UAS and getting up here and trying to fill that in by aircraft or the drone. Moving across to Division Delta, Juliet, this fire has not moved along Hee Creek. That's being monitored, looking really good. Moving over into what's now Division Lima, this area in here, this northeast corner, is essentially the Hee Creek drainage, and this drainage, which we're calling no-name drainage, that runs west-east. The main fire in this really steep timbered country continues to slowly flank along that hillside south of that no-name drainage. And the crews in here are currently working on this containment line right here with the intent within the next couple days to have all the line established in there and then start burning that out at the right time with the right people in place. And hopefully in the next few days, the plan would be to close that off with firing. So you'll be hearing more about that from me or one of the other ops folks in the next few days as we start that operation. So they're working on putting that line in today. Moving around to the rest of the fire in Lima, this is all looking really good. Hasn't moved in many days. Continue to patrol that. This area in here where it actually burned into the fire scar from 2 years ago, it hasn't moved in probably almost 2 weeks. Continuing to monitor that. Coming around here, doing a little bit more work in Division Oscar, down here where the fire's on the road, but still a little bit of mop up to do. Continuing to do that. And then moving around into this, what we've been calling the boot. looking really, really good in there. Starting to call that secure. As you can see, there's black line on it. That means it's secure, but we're continuing to monitor that. The last piece that Division Yankee is involved in is making sure that this 18 road is prepared for when fire comes down to that road. So they're doing some preparation work around the campgrounds and continuing to bolster around those Hayden structures there. So that's the plan for today. Let's move over to Salmon. So the Salmon fire is looking really good. There has been no movement on the Salmon fire in probably 48 hours. And the movement that did happen yesterday was just tying in this burnout, which we referred to yesterday. This whole west side has looked good for the last couple of days, and they continue to have crews on there just working to secure and mop up. It's looking really good. Very little, there's no movement on the fire at all. It's all surrounded by line, and there's very little heat to be done and very little work to be done on it right now. So gradually, as resources are freed up on this, they're moving up and helping with Bedrock, but we're not leaving this unstaffed. We're continuing to monitor it and also continuing to do a little bit of prep work along the Salmon River Road. We're cognizant of the weather changes coming up this weekend. It's a gradual change, and understand that there's concern from fire managers, from community about the potential for drier, hotter air and some of that easterly flow. We are not expecting an east wind event. But we actually, during the day, the operational period when it's hottest and driest, we still actually are expecting a westerly flow, meaning west winds. If we do get any type of easterly influence, it's going to be very light, and it would probably be overnight. So the threat or the risk of salmon fire actually moving out of its containment lines is low, and for it to move west and have an impact to any resources, values, and infrastructure to the west is very, very low. So that's what I got for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.